Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dark Park Film Reviews. I'm John Ward, and thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to be looking at the Zack Snyder uh, uh, movies and his DCEU like universe. Um, so what I have is I got a stack here of Zack Snyder's films in in order, more or less in order, from his regular movies to his comic book movies. Then later on this week, I'm going to release another video that shows all of the DC comic book movies that I own that are not part of his universe. Um, I have a stack here, but I just need to kind of go through my collection and make sure that I grabbed everything um, before I make it. But this one is just the Zack Snyder and his movies that are not like comic book related. Um, I've been watching The Penguin on Max, and I've really been enjoying it. Plus, there's more and more stuff coming out from James Gunn and Superman, and what he's going to now be doing with the DCU or the DC universe. And so I kind of just wanted to look at these movies and judge them. So, I think that is the correct thing to do. So there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, good is good, bad is bad, and so let's start off with his very first film, and or at least the first film that that we would know from him, and that would be Dawn of the Dead, and that came out in 2004, written by James Gunn. So this is the Scream Factory Blu-ray of it. And it comes with the theatrical version and the unrated version. I really enjoyed this when it first came out. I went, ugh, come on, a remake of Dawn of the Dead, one of the greatest zombie movies ever made. Really? Really? And man, it's good. So, we got our first taste of Zack Snyder, who had done like a ton of music videos. In some cases, you can compare him to Michael Bay, because a certain amount of these guys, Zack Snyder, Michael Bay, uh, um, Tony Scott, all these guys came from doing music videos, commercials, and all that. And then they got into movies because of these things that he made, that they made. And that's the same thing that Zack Snyder did, is that he started off small and then went big. What I do find funny with this is that it is written by James Gunn, and it says here that the theatrical version is 101 minutes, the unrated version is 110. The 110 is better. There's more character development and there's more gore. So I think this is probably one of the best remakes ever made. I think that this is a great film, and it was a really good way to win people over with what he was going to do next. And that is the film that pretty much solidified him. And that would be 300. And of course, Dawn of the Dead is a remake, but pretty much from here on out, we're talking books or comic books for a lot of stuff. So 300, based on the comic book. This is 2006, based on the Frank Miller comic. And I mean, the movie pretty much, made, Gerald Butler like a household name. It made Zack Snyder at least a big Hollywood name. And it is a great film. This is a 2-disc special edition. And this at some point I should pick up on Blu-ray too. So disc 1, it looks like it's the movie. Disc 2 are the special features. See if there's anything. There's audio commentary. I think there's also Dawn of the Dead as audio commentary too. But 300. Now his next film is what I still consider to be the greatest comic book movie ever made. And this was done in 2009, and it's The Watchmen. I got this big ass version of it. This thing has everything. I don't think there's a better comic book movie that came before this. I still don't think that there was a better comic book movie that came after this. With the amount of filmmakers that tried to adapt the comic book into a movie, this is the way to go. In fact, wait a second. I have, hold on. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, I forgot that I even owned this. So, okay, so I'm glad it was right there. So this is the ultimate cut, the complete story. This is the comic book except for the ending. The ending is very changed. It does not have like the space, like squids coming down. It doesn't have any of that. It has a much more political ending. I guess maybe that they thought that people wouldn't buy into the whole, squid thing and all that. So I've only read the comic book once. I read it again after this. And when I saw this, it didn't bother me that they changed it. Because I thought actually the ending of the comic book was a little silly with these kind of like space squids and stuff. But, and I know there's more to it than just space squids. But I do like the ending of this. So you could pretty much take the comic, the graphic novel, and put it side by side while watching the movie. And it really is like panel to panel. I mean, to each, whatever you're seeing on your screen is in the comic. It's right there. I mean, it is, I don't think, I just don't think that there could have been a better guy to make this. And let me show you what's inside here. So it opens up. We got this. And then the back. So I'll show you the full thing. And then it pulls open. Well, it doesn't pull open. It kind of falls out. So you got this big. And so what you get is the complete motion comic, 12 episodes. The graphic novel comes to life page by page. So this is them literally taking the comic book and making it into an animated series. It's 12 episodes. So it's worth getting because since the movie itself, like they changed the ending, you could get the ending on here. The proper ending. So you have disc 1, you got disc 2, and then you got some stuff here. So you got Absolute Watchmen. So you get Watchmen hardcover, softcover, Watchmen the Absolute Edition. It looks like that's the new one. And then this is, a game that you can play. And then on here you get It talks about Blu-rays and all that type of stuff in here. So, how many movies of these do I have? I own. So I don't own the Ultimate Matrix, but I own all the Matrix movies, including like the Animatrix. I got the behind the scenes of the Matrix. Oh yeah, it's sitting over there. I don't forget. So yeah, so the animated one, I got the behind the scenes, and then plus the 3 movies, and then the new one. So I guess that would now be the ultimate. Batman Returns, I have. Dark Knight, I have. This I have. I just got this. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Got season 1. I don't think I own LA Confidential yet. Surprisingly, I don't think I have Beetlejuice. I do have Tim Burton movies, but I don't think I have Beetlejuice. Polar Express, I don't want to own. I didn't like that. Speed Racer, I got. I like that. That's by the same people who did Matrix. Fred Claus it's funny, but I don't need to have it in the collection. So, and then these go into here. And then this is what holds all the DVDs. And then kind of folds out even more. So we'll go start from here and make our way. So it also has a really good soundtrack, like score and music. And then just to look at the back, start from here. That's the digital copy is there. And then special features, Watchmen, the Ultimate Cut is here. That Ultimate Cut is really, really good. It's got everything, hence the Ultimate Cut. And then this is how you do like the digital copy. We'll put that back in there. And then this will go back in the box. Let's see. Go like that. Okay. Now, what I grabbed, I forgot about this. They never did a season 2 of this. It's on Max. And a lot of people don't like this because they find it to be, and I kind of got to agree with them, very woke. This is more of a continuation of the kind of the movie and the comic book combined. Like the ending of the comic book did happen, but since the movie and the comic are so close to each other, the only thing that's really kind of like radically different for the movie is the ending, that it does have like the space squids in it. And that is, it's Watchmen, an HBO limited series. So I guess when I say that people think this is woke, they basically, so so this is set not okay. So there was, and I'm sorry, I want to get this right. So okay, so this is in Oklahoma, there was an incident, and this is real. This is what the series is based off of. It's Black Wall Street, Tulsa, and it's the Tulsa Race Massacre. And what happened was that they were calling this, like, white people were calling this the Black Wall Street, and it was run by all Black people, and it was doing incredibly well. They were making money. The businesses were being profitable. It was doing very well, while white people weren't doing so well and didn't like it. So they basically went in, and like I said, this is a true story. You could look it up. That they went in and basically destroyed the town, murdered everybody in there that they could in the worst ways possible, and basically left it completely gutted, and all these people murdered, and then left, I guess, satisfied. And so the series is kind of based on that. And so our lead character is Angela Abar is a woman of many masks. She's a seasoned detective in the Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm sorry, I think I said something else. Oklahoma when I saw OC. So Oklahoma, police force where officers must conceal their identities to protect themselves from terrorists. While investigating a murder close to home, Angela uncovers a far-reaching conspiracy that threatens the future of the world. Regina King leads a formidable cast that includes Jeremy Irons, Don Johnson, Gene Smart, Tim Blake Nelson. So it's, and they also took from this one of our main guys, who is, where is cast? Because I'm blanking on his name. Oh, this is so annoying. Casting characters. Okay. So Dr. Manhattan. Okay. So Billy Crudup played Dr. Manhattan, and he's like a big blue guy. So he's a white guy. He's like a big blue guy. And in the TV series, it's played by like a big, tall, like, black guy. And it is brought up, like, didn't you look different before? He does comment that he could pretty much change his appearance. He's kind of, I think he says like he's in hiding or something. And so they race swapped. I don't think they gender swapped anybody, but it is a show that kind of works off of like DEI. It didn't bother me that much, but I did watch reviews, and a lot of people did not like this because of the casting, because of the changes that they made. I kind of get what they're saying, but and I'm not a woke person. So one of the issues that people have with things is that you gender swap an already known character, or you race swap an already known character instead of creating a new character. Well, this character here, this is a new character. So this character can be a black woman. There's nothing wrong with that. People did not like, Dr. Manhattan being changed, but if Dr. Manhattan can change, then I guess he can be a black man who's blue. Does that make any sense? I guess. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. I like Jeremy Irons in it, but he does play the villain. So the white guy, of course, is the villain. But I wonder if they show a picture. Yeah, like I forget Tim Blake Nelson. Does he play? I don't know if he plays a racist. I forget or not. Um, Don Johnson, I know plays a bad guy, and of course he plays a cop. You know, he's like a white cop. This might be the actor that plays Dr. Manhattan, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen this in a long time. I watched it when it originally came out, and I just wanted to get everything Watchmen, and so I picked it up. So yeah, so it's I don't know if you really have a curiosity of where they took the Watchmen. I think they did do recently. I think it was this year an animated series for the Watchmen, like an actual animated one. I haven't watched that one yet, but so there's that one too. Then, and I didn't find a listing for it on here because I don't think Zack Snyder had anything to do with it. So I couldn't find. It says 2020 is when it came out. But I mean, I'm keeping it. It's part of it. So and stuff in it didn't bother me that much. So I don't like like I said, I just don't like gender swapping. I don't like race swapping. I don't like. I just create an original character. Then if you want, like I said with her, she's a new character. So nothing wrong with that. Okay, so then after Watchmen is Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Kahul, which is, I think, unless Zack Snyder has his name on the new Watchmen animated show, I believe is the only animated film with his name on it. And this is it here, the Blu-ray. It's all about owls. I have not seen it yet. I want to, but I just have other stuff to watch. From the studio that brought you Happy Feet. I've heard it's a great animated movie. Little, it's aimed at kids, but it's got its, adult moments in it with owls attacking each other and, the political structure of how, these owls work and live. So that's the combo disc. Oh, DVD and digital copy. And then you got the actual Blu-ray right here. And that's the digital stuff there. And this tells you how to all do it. So, but I've heard it's very good. Patrick H. Willems, who I've mentioned before on things, has said that he believes that this might be Zack Snyder's best film. So then after that, he did Sucker Punch in 2011. We haven't even hit the actual superhero stuff yet. So Sucker Punch, this is the extended cut. I'm not going to ruin the ending. Let's just say I love this film up until the end. The ending really bothers me, but I love the soundtrack. I love the score. The visuals are pretty amazing. And it's, oh, I wonder what is Blu-ray disc. Here's what you'll need. So what is what? Oh, I think this came with a slipcover, and it probably explained what the two discs are. This looks like the theatrical cut. Because on this one, it says extended cut, and it doesn't say that here. So this must be theatrical. This must be extended, which has like a dance scene added back into it. So this is the one that I always watch. But I really enjoyed this. I really liked all the women in it. I thought that they kicked ass. And I enjoyed this, like I said, all the way up to the end. There's a scene with, with John Hamm, and at the very end, I'm not going to say exactly what it is, just in case you haven't seen it, but that disappointed me. So, but to that point, now we get into, I think, except for one more. Well, this is still comic book, but it's not DC. So now we get Man of Steel. So he makes all of these movies, and then DC, Warner Brothers, who he constantly works with, all of these, except for Dawn of the Dead, have all been Warner Brothers. So he's built up their trust, and they're like, okay, now we want you to run, the DCEU. And the first thing that he did was Man of Steel. I like that it's not called Superman. I like that it's called Man of Steel. I like this. I'm going to do spoilers for a lot of this stuff, but some of these I don't want to give away the end. But I love that they kill Zod in this, that he kills Zod. I think that Michael Shannon did a great job as Zod. And I really like this. There are some issues with it that I do have, like in let's say the Christopher Reeve Superman, Superman the movie. It's his mother makes the suit for him out of the blankets that he was wrapped in, and when they found him in like that meteorite, and in this, when he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, the suit is already there, and that it's like, okay, well, all right, I guess why would they already have the suit pre-made? So that bothered me a little bit, but I like the darkness. I like, of course, Henry Cavill to me is the second best Superman. Christopher Reeve is the first one, and will always be the best. But Henry Cavill, I think, did a great job. He was perfectly cast. This whole film is really well cast. I mean, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Michael Shannon, Kevin Costner, Diane Lane, Lawrence Fishburne, Russell Crowe. Look, Lawrence Fishburne plays Perry White, who's always been played by a white guy. Absolutely no issues, none at all. So when people talk about this type of stuff, it just matters how it's done. It matters who it is. It matters what it's for. It's perfectly fine to have, Lawrence Fishburne, play this character that is, since the creation of Superman, has always been white, and now he's black. Not a problem at all. Not at all. We all love Lawrence Fishburne, and we always knew Perry White as a loudmouth. He was always yelling. He doesn't yell, and his character doesn't yell. He goes the opposite direction. So I really like that. I like Russell Crowe as Jor-El. Love Amy Adams. Oh my God, do I love Amy Adams? God, she is beautiful, and she's a good Lois Lane. So, so we got DVD and Blu-ray, and then that's the digital thing right there. And it's got some makings of and other stuff on it. So, and of course, Christopher Nolan is a producer on these. David S. Goyer wrote the screenplay, and it's also story by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan, screenplay by David S. Goyer. I tend to think, and we'll talk about this in the next video more, but I tend to think that with Batman Rises, that they just didn't give a shit about it, and they cared about this more, so they focused more on getting this made, because Dark Knight Rises I thought was just garbage. It was not a good movie. So then after Man of Steel, Zack Snyder returned to the 300 world, but did not direct. This is, Noam oh God. I don't know. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to waste your time. But he didn't direct it. It's a different director. I like that cover there. So this is 300 Rise of an Empire. I really liked this, and in some cases, to be honest, I actually like this better than 300. It's a sequel. Well, I'll put it. It's a prequel sequel. So I like that. It happens around the events of 300, and I enjoyed that. I thought that this was a fun film. Has Eva Green in it, who I think is gorgeous. That's it's her on the back there. So if you like 300, I would definitely check this out. So DVD, Blu-ray. And yeah, it was produced by Zack Snyder. Yeah. But I think it's still based off of a graphic novel by Frank Miller. So that's 2 Frank Miller graphic novels that Zack Snyder has made. Get rid of that. Okay, and then from here on, man, I think it's all except for one, the very last one. These are now all comic book movies. And 300, Rise of the Empire is also Warner Brothers. So is Man of Steel. Yeah, and Sucker Punch. All right, so now we have this is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. This is the Ultimate Edition. So this is like the 3-hour cut of the movie, which is actually might be over 3 hours. But this is the version that they should have released in the theater. From what I understand, is that Zack Snyder previewed this for the people of Warner Brothers. They loved it. They thought it was the greatest thing ever. Okay, now cut like a half an hour out of it because we want to get as many showtimes as we can. This is the extended cut with more than 30 minutes added. Yeah. So, and then we got, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. And this is half good, half not good. Ultimate Edition extended cut of the film with 30 more minutes not seen in theaters. I love that. Why am I blanking? God, I'm getting old. That Ben Affleck was Batman. I know people had a hard time with it, and I actually find the Batfleck, a nickname to be funny. I was a huge defender of him in a movie called Hollywoodland, and that is the story of George Reeves, the man who played Superman in the TV series The Adventures of Superman, and his death. There's a lot of conspiracies on how he died. Nobody knows exactly what happened to him. And I thought that Ben Affleck did a great job as Superman. You just see him as George Reeves. He's got like a fake nose on, I think, but you see him as the actor. You see him as Superman. I thought that he did a great job. So when they said that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, I was very happy about that, because since they were doing more of like the Dark Knight Returns type of thing, the older Batman, not a younger Batman, I thought that really worked, especially with his age. My big problem with the Zack Snyder superhero world is I've never been a fan of the costumes. I just don't like the way they look. I think Wonder Woman is fine. I think Superman is okay. Not a huge fan of the Batman one, but this is more like like Dark Knight Returns type of stuff. I really don't like the way the Flash looks, and I don't like the way Cyborg looks. I just think there's just too much going on when I think it just should have been simpler. But it says down here, theatrical version and extended cut on Blu-ray disc and digital HD. Theatrical version is only available on DVD. Overall, I liked this. I think that they should have just maybe made it just Superman and Batman, and they fight together, then make another movie, bring in have her solo film, then in Justice League, bring in all three of them, and that's maybe when they can fight Bane. I still think the best version of Bane is Batman and Robin. It looks like the comic book. And in this one, it doesn't really look like the comic book. And I think that they have a huge missed opportunity with Bane. They could have done an entire movie with Bane and the death of Superman. And so they just kind of threw it in at the end. And I wasn't a huge fan of that. This also has, Holly Hunter, Jeremy Irons, Jesse Eisenberg, who is, I guess, supposed to be playing Lex Luthor, but I think it's actually Lex Luthor Jr. But I have a feeling that he thought maybe he was playing the Riddler because he doesn't act like a Lex Luthor, but maybe he's just supposed to be like a millennial or a Gen X or something, and he's hyperactive and can't focus and talks fast and he's all over the place. And I don't know, maybe he's trying to act like how younger people act, I guess. I'm not around a lot of younger people, so I'm more around people my age. But I don't know. I think if they wanted to have him, they should have just maybe made him a younger version of Lex Luthor and kept more towards the Lex Luthor character. But at the end, he does get his head shaved, and so then he does look like Lex Luthor. But I do think he's supposed to be Junior. I think Lex Luthor dies the off screen, and but his what he's doing, just his acting is very weird for this type of thing. But I mean, I liked it. I can always watch it. I don't really have a problem with it. DVD, Blu-ray, and that's the digital. I did like in I Am Legend, the film with Will Smith, that it's the end of the world, the apocalypse has happened, and in Times Square, there is the poster that, I think it's this. Yeah, it's like this is up there on the wall, kind of foreshadowing what we're going to be getting down the road. So I like that in that movie. I thought that was funny. But if you're going to watch this, you should watch that extended cut of 30 minutes. So that is the much better version. Okay, so we got Sucker Punch was 2011, Man of Steel was 2013, 300 Rise of the Empire is 2014, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is 2016, but also in 2016 is Suicide Squad. This is the extended cut. I saw it in the theater, and then I bought this because it was the extended cut, thinking this might be the director's cut. And I am a huge advocate that David Ayer should get his director's cut. If Zack Snyder can do his director's cut of Justice League, then David Ayer should be able to, I think I'm saying his last name right, should get his director's cut of this. Because this is basically, the film was edited by people who edit movie trailers. This was not edited by like professional movie editors. This is done by people who edit film trailers. So there is a lot missing, including a lot of stuff with Jared Leto is missing from this. I like everybody in this movie. So, I think, and I'm not a huge Will Smith fan. I like him as an actor. I just don't like him and his family that much. But you got, Will Smith, you got Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Joel Kinnaman, Viola Davis. And you got other people in here too. And it says here, extended cut in theatrical version on Blu-ray disc and digital HD. Theatrical version is on DVD. So a lot of people don't like the Jared Leto Joker. I didn't mind it. I really didn't. It's just a different version. you know, of the Joker. I didn't mind the hand thing. Or is it this way? He uses does like that because there's teeth on his hand. I think with Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, that there is that scene where he walks past Robin's costume that's in glass, and there's Joker writing on it to show that the Joker killed Robin, which would kind of go back to the comic book The Killing Joke. I think I kind of liked everybody in this. I don't think this is a horrible film, but I really would like to see that other cut. And Warner Brothers has such a stick up their ass that they took Batgirl down, which I wanted to see that. And they pretty much just got rid of it. Like, it doesn't exist anymore. Why not just put it on Max? Let people watch it. What does it matter? So what's on this? So you got here the DVD, which is the theatrical version, and then the Blu-ray here, which is the extended cut. And then, that's how to do the digital. And then this talks about all access pass or something. Nice thing is that there's always a ton of special features on these. So this next one is, so now we're in 2017. Okay. So I may get in trouble for this. I think this movie, and I believe it made $1 billion. I'm going to check that right now. No, it didn't make $1 billion. I thought it made $1 billion, but at the time, I think it was the highest grossing one. It made $824 million. I thought this did make $1 billion, but I am incorrect. So, but I think the reason why this was such a success was Zack Snyder. I got to be honest, and that's Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed this film. And I think that Patty Jenkins, who also did the movie Monster, did a really good job directing this. I think that up to this point, like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad, this is probably the best one. Up to this point, this is probably the best comic book movie. A lot of people liked it, and it was great seeing Chris Pine in here because he was at the time also doing Captain Kirk, and he was doing a great Captain Kirk. So I think this is done really well. And if it means anything, it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So I thought that they did a really good job with Wonder Woman. I really liked it. And I think one of the reasons why it did really well is that it has a good director who's female. It has a good lead actress in it playing Wonder Woman. And none of this is criticizing anybody. So it's not woke. It's not DEI. It's not, they're not changing things. They're not gender swapping. They're not race swapping. They're not, and even if they did, I don't remember because it was such a good movie. This, to me, Wonder Woman is just one of those films that shows how you can make a good female led superhero movie without it turning off the male audience. And I would probably say even the female audience too. So yeah, Wonder Woman is up to this point, I think, the best one. I don't know if I said it, but Blu-ray and then DVD is there, or I'm sorry, DVD is there, Blu-ray is there. And then that's the stuff for the digital, and then they give you, thing about dolls, Wonder Woman dolls. I do remember some people criticizing Gal Gadot, I always say her name wrong, for not having boobs. Because if you always remember, like Linda Carter's Wonder Woman and Amazons, and if you go back to like the B movies of Roger Corman and all that, all the Amazons always have like, you know, double D breasts, and she doesn't. And I know that she's kind of made fun of that sometimes on I forget which late night show it is, like talk show, where it's like mean celebrities read mean text, and she read one with saying like, "Where are your breasts?" And she looks down and goes, I assure you they're there." So she has a sense of humor about it. She seems like a cool person. So I think that she is a great choice for this role. I mean, she's you know, she's a decent actress. She's beautiful. She's not a great actress, but she's a decent actress. She's absolutely beautiful, a lot more beautiful than Snow White. And oh, and this even has a bonus scene that's not in the theaters. So Wonder Woman, definitely a great movie, a really good movie. So okay, so now I think we're in the same year. So Wonder Woman is 2017, and then we have Justice League. Wow. Okay. This is a mess. So Zack Snyder started this movie. And this was his baby. This was his Avengers. This was supposed to bring everything together. And what happened was, sadly, very unfortunately, his daughter took her own life. So he left the project. And they gave the project to Josh Whedon. Warner Brothers, I think, by this point, even though Wonder Woman had made a lot of money, was not happy with the direction that Zack Snyder was making. Was making these films in, because Marvel films at this point were still making a lot of money, and they were more lighthearted. They had a lot of comedy. They were brighter movies. While these were darker films, and so people seem to like the Avengers stuff and the Marvel movies better than these. So when Josh Whedon came on board, they're like, yeah, we want you to go back and reshoot everything. So for the most part, he almost reshot the entire movie, like 80% of the movie. And they recolor tinted the film. So if Zack Snyder wanted something green, they turned it red, that type of thing. Superman had the full color suit instead of the black suit. It's a lot of subplots are missing, especially with Cyborg. And even though there is a bonus scenes not in theaters, I didn't hate this until, well, I still don't hate it, but until I saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, I thought this was fine. But once again, it's too many people too soon. I mean, we got a whole bunch of Marvel movies, and then we finally got the Avengers, right? We set it all up. Each character had his own movie, had his own movie, because Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, didn't get one until after she was dead. So each character got his own movie. And we got little cameos, but it wasn't until the Avengers where we came together. So we're only three movies in, and this is number 4, if we're not counting Suicide Squad, that all of a sudden we get DC's Warner Brothers Avengers. But it's what we got, and I didn't know what the difference was. I mean, I'd heard the difference, but I still didn't hate it because I liked the characters. So DVD, Blu-ray, and then that's for the digital. And this is, a little thing for the soundtrack, because it's Danny Elfman, I believe. So not the worst. But with seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League, it definitely went down some pegs. So if somebody were to ask me, oh, let's watch Justice League, I would say it has to be the Zack Snyder version. Even though it's 4 hours long, I would say it has to be that one. Because unless you wanted to do an all-day marathon, and then you could watch this one first, and then put on the Zack Snyder version to see the difference. So then after Justice League, so we got 2018 is Aquaman. So I am a huge James Wan fan. I am happy that he took on Aquaman. And even though this probably should have come before this, so everybody could get their individual movies, they also should have done The Flash before the Justice League. They should have done a Cyborg movie before Justice League. But okay, you know, can't go back and change this stuff. So Aquaman, I really enjoyed. This is before all the Amber Turd stuff, and I actually liked Amber Turd. Well, at the time, she would have been Amber Heard, and then afterwards, it would be Amber Turd. So I don't think that she's a horrible actress, just not a good person. So this also includes a sneak peek of Shazam. And this has got a good cast in it. So we are looking at, of course, Jason Momoa. We got Amber Heard, Willem Dafoe, Patrick Wilson, who has worked with, of course, James Wan, The Conjuring, Insidious, stuff like that. Dolph Lundgren, come on. And God, am I going to mispronounce his name? Well, we got Nicole Kidman. I'll get her out of the way too. Yaha Abdul Mateen II, who I believe is Manta. I probably mangled his name, and I'm sorry. I thought Manta was really good in this. I like that, that they used Aquaman's main villain in this. I just thought that this was a good film. It worked. And so we have DVD, Blu-ray, and this is the digital thing. It worked well enough to where they would make, a sequel that wouldn't come out for friggin' years. So let's look. So Aquaman. Well, okay, this is the movie I was thinking of. So I thought it was Wonder Woman, but it's not. It's Aquaman. So Aquaman made $1.152 billion. So we'll say it just made over $1 billion. So that right there is a certified hit. Enough for them to do, a sequel, which, thanks to COVID and thanks to, the Amber Turd and Johnny Depp trial, which, by the way, I was on Johnny Depp's side on that one. I supported him, and many and other things, bad test screenings and all that. It took years for a second Aquaman movie to come out. So now we get, but these are the wrong order. Okay, here we go. So now we got the $1 billion Aquaman. Now we're going to get Ufa. Wonder Woman 1984. I own this because it is part of the DCEU, because it's part of Zack Snyder's universe. I bought this. Otherwise, I would not have purchased this. I think this is one of the worst comic book movies ever made. And we'll get to a couple more of those. Now, where I for with Wonder Woman, that I think the reason why it did so well had a lot to do with Zack Snyder. I think probably the reason why this did so bad was because of Patty Jenkins. I don't think Zack Snyder had as much to do with this one as he did the first one. From what I understand is, if you've watched this movie, which is a very long film, it is, if I could quickly find, 151 minutes. There are two beginnings to this. One that takes place on the Amazon island, and then another one that takes place in a shopping mall. The executives at Warner Brothers had asked Patty Jenkins to cut one of those beginnings, and she said, no, I will not do it. Wonder Woman was a hit. If you have me cut one of those beginnings, I am not coming back for Wonder Woman 3. So they went, okay. So they gave her the two beginnings, which to me, the beginning that's on the island doesn't really serve much of a purpose. There's also, are there two versions of this? I remember there being, no, I guess there's only one. So the thing that people don't like the most about this is the stuff with Steve Rogers. The fact that he takes over a man's body and basically just takes over this guy's life, which is a piece of shit thing to do, that you're going to destroy somebody's life. And there are so many issues with this. And, you know, it's, God, I could do an entire video of what is so wrong with this. This is a complete ego-made movie. The best thing in this, I mean, I do like Kristen Wiig. I like her character. I like her as Cheetah. I've always liked her. I thought that she's a very funny person. I think that she was great on Saturday Night Live. I'll give her a pass for Ghostbusters 2016. And I liked her here. I thought it was an interesting choice to have her as the villain. Even just the plane, the Wonder Woman invisible plane, was stupid. There are so many stupid things in this movie. God, so many stupid things. But I'm trying to think. So, DVD, Blu-ray. I like the different colors and how it's designed, though. The trailer that came out with like the 80s song, I forget what song it is, was like a popular 80s band, was great. I was so psyched for this movie. And I just hated it. Is it Justice League that I'm thinking of? There's something with Wonder Woman where a building blows up, but the blowing up is different in the extended cut. So I think it's Justice League has a toned down version of the building blowing up at the beginning. Yeah, this just has got, yeah, the scene in the mall in this just has robbers, like they're stealing from a jewelry store, and she stops them. In Justice League, it's guys are going to blow up the building and like a couple blocks to make some sort of statement, like trying to bring the world back in time or something like that. And then in Zack Snyder's extended cut for Justice League, it's a much more brutal scene. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. So Wonder Woman 1984, so far out of all of these, starting from Man of Steel, is the worst one, is by far the worst one. So Wonder Woman is the best one. Wonder Woman 1984 is the worst one. The second best would be, I think, probably Aquaman. No, I'm going to say Man of Steel. Then Aquaman. Yeah. Two different degrees. Okay. So then after Wonder Woman 1984, now hold on. Oh, because, okay, I have another page up here. Okay, so this is from Cinema Blend. And this is how you should watch these films. So we're going to go to, okay. So we're going to go to that in a moment. Because, yeah, so I'm going to include in here, because it's not, I thought he had something to do with this, but I'm not seeing anything on Wikipedia for Shazam. But according to how to watch, so you should watch Aquaman, then Shazam. Since I already have that sitting out, Shazam, which is here. I really liked Shazam. I thought it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. Interesting thing is Marvel's Captain Marvel with Brie Larson was originally Shazam. It was originally that the young kid, I think it's Billy, would say Shazam and turn into Captain Marvel. And then down the road, Marvel bought Captain Marvel. It was a man, and then they changed. They did the gender swap and changed it into a woman, and that's where the Brie Larson thing comes in. So that's why it's like his name is Billy. This is, I don't know. I forget if his name is Shazam. I know that he says Shazam, and then he turns into Shazam. But I enjoyed this. I know Zachary Levi has not been in the best with people because he's supporting Trump. I don't give a shit who he supports. It does not bother me at all as long as he's a good actor. I wish that actors would not bring politics into things, but oh well, what are you going to do? I'm a Mel Gibson fan, so you know I can obviously put up with a lot. But I did enjoy the first Shazam, and trying to figure out where I could fit Shazam too, because I could swear it was on this list, but it's not. It was on Wikipedia. Okay, so we're going to, yeah, okay, so we're going to set this up here for a moment. Okay, so after Wonder Woman 1984 would then come Zack Snyder's Justice League. So this is 2021 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I love this cut of this movie. It is much better than the original. I am so happy that Warner Brothers allowed him to do this. I don't care that this is 4 hours long. It's 242 minutes. Max was originally going to turn this into a miniseries, but they decided to release it in its entirety, which I was happy about. I'm also glad that they did release a DVD for this. It does have Superman in the black costume, which is correct to the comic books. There's our backstories are in here. Our villain is different. We actually even have a second villain in here, and I mean, this is to me where Watchmen, that ultimate cut, is my favorite it'd be my favorite comic book adaptation. I think out of the DCEU ones, this is the best one. This is the most complete. It's they gave Zack Snyder obviously carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to. He threw in the kitchen sink, the sofa, he threw in the dining room table. He filmed all these extra scenes that they were never planning originally, including the stuff with Jared Leto as the Joker, looking a little more like Heath Ledger's Joker, and all that future Batman stuff. I would love to just have a movie on that alone. I love this version. I think this is really good. And this is something that I could probably sit down and maybe watch, an hour or two on one night and then an hour or two on the next night, and, until I got it done, almost like a mini series. I love this. I think that this is so good. I mean, it's got, you know, Green Lantern in it. No, not Green Lantern. No, well, I think we see the lanterns. But it has like Martian Manhunter. That's what I'm thinking of. I mean, it is. I think that this is also a problem, because once you give Zack Snyder that, and then here we got the Blu-rays over here. Oh, Blu-ray's also over here. So this is only Blu-ray, and it's got probably like 2 hours here, 2 hours there, and then special features and stuff. Yeah, here they show there's Zack Snyder's Justice League there, then Wonder Woman 1984, The Dark Knight Rises, the Harley Quinn cartoon, and then there's that Watchmen series that got canceled, HBO Max. I just think that this is really good. But like I said, the problem with this is what we're about to come up on, and which is then an issue, which is then a problem with Netflix. So, and I do want to point out that in Suicide Squad, I liked all these characters. I thought that they all did a good job. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, I thought did a very good job. I am one of the only people who liked Joker 2. And I thought Lady Gaga, if she had turned more into Harley Quinn, if they did a third one where she was full Harley Quinn, I think would have done a great job. But I do like Margot Robbie as the, as Harley Quinn. I just wish they would have allowed Lady Gaga to do more in Joker 2. From what I understand, from what I've read, is a lot of her stuff was cut, and she was kind of pissed off about that. So, I don't really know right now who would be the definitive Harley Quinn. But with that being said, we then have after Zack Snyder's Justice League is Army of the Dead. So that's also 2021. So Zack Snyder's Justice League 2021, Army of the Dead is 2021. What I'll say about that is it looks like he's going to be doing some sort of TV series on it, and I don't know how much shooting they actually did out here in Las Vegas, but I did not like Army of the Dead at all. I hated how it was shot, and I know that Zack Snyder was the cameraman on it. I just did not like the way that it looked. I didn't really like the zombies as much. The story was really bad. I think it's like one of his worst written movies. And it's not available for purchase. I probably would own it because it's Zack Snyder and it's zombies. So I probably would own it for that. I know that I could get a bootleg of it the same way that I got Six Underground, the Michael Bay movie that was on Netflix. But I'm not motivated enough to get Army of the Dead. I just did not think it was that good of a movie. I was looking forward to it. I was very excited coming home from work to see it. I think I even got like a soda and a pizza and stuff like that. And I just didn't like it. It just didn't do it for me. Maybe if one day, if it ever comes out, or if I get a copy of it or whatever, I'll rewatch it. Maybe my thoughts will be different, but I just didn't like it. So yeah, there's that. I just didn't like it. After Army of the Dead, so we're still in 2021, we did get The Suicide Squad. And once again, I like everybody who's in this. I like all the characters. I watched some of the episodes of Peacekeeper, but I didn't like what they did with Vigilante. I really hated what they did with Vigilante, how they tried to make him more of a Deadpool character, when if you look at the DC comics, Vigilante is pretty much their version of the Punisher. and I was a huge Vigilante fan. I collected all the Vigilante comics. And so I was very pissed at the Peacemaker that they showed disrespect. And I guess Peacemaker is like the only show that that James Gunn didn't cancel when everything else got canceled. But I really enjoyed The Suicide Squad. And James Gunn did this. This is DC, when he had already done 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films. He did a text like 10 years before that, of course, came back to haunt him. And this one stupid text that nobody even thought about, and some asshole probably found it, got him fired from Disney. And he went, oh, okay, fuck you. I'll go to Warner Brothers and make The Suicide Squad, which made money. And then that's when, like, oh shit, our movies are bombing. Oh my god, okay, what we got to get, James Gunn back to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And then he went back and did it, and then went, fuck you. I'm now gonna go run my own version of, the DCEU, and we'll just call it the DCU. And so that's what he's doing now. So that's what happens when you cancel somebody who had one text. I mean, come on, this is a guy who worked for Troma Films for years. I mean, at the time, he was most known for writing Romeo and Juliet. So you're not expecting somebody who worked for Troma Films to maybe do a politically incorrect text. I mean, are you stupid? And by the way, this is certified fresh if anybody cares. And I really liked Harley Quinn in this. I liked that they gave her own scene kicking ass. I mean, everybody was good in this. Everybody. I liked everyone in this. So, and we got our DVD, the Blu-ray. I'm not really sure what this is. DC Universe Infinite. It's got to be like for a game, like the code for a game. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So let's check. So Suicide Squad made $749 million. The Suicide Squad made $168 million. So the original Suicide Squad was a bigger hit. I didn't know that. 749 million to. That's why I paused. I thought maybe I was looking at this wrong. To 168 million. Oh, fuck yeah. That was a. That didn't do well. Yeah, it underperformed at the box office. After grossing just 169 million worldwide against a production budget of 185 million. Wow. But the film received positive reviews from critics and became the most streamed DCEU film on HBO Max. So, okay. I thought it made more money. No, it did not. Okay. So, I got. This is weird. Why aren't these? Okay, so I'm going to say Shazam 2 or Shazam Fury of the Gods. do not have. Dwayne Johnson was a producer on Shazam. He was the one who didn't want Shazam in Black Adam. Yeah, Zack Snyder is not listed on this. I thought that he was. I thought for some reason Wikipedia had him on this. So we are going to not talk about these last three, but we are going to. So after the Suicide Squad, there was Army of Thieves, which he did not direct. He did the story as one of the producers. It's the prequel to Army of the Dead. I have not seen it. I kind of want to, but not really. I don't think I really care. Then he did Rebel Moon, and that's so Zack Snyder's Justice League, Army of the Dead, The Suicide Squad, and Army of Thieves are all 2001. 2003 is Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. And then in 2024, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. I have not seen these. I know that these are rejected Star Wars screenplays. My problem is that now that Warner Brothers gave him, to do Zack Snyder's Justice League 4 hours long, that now almost everything he does has to have like a director's cut. Like at first there has to be the regular version that comes out, and these are Netflix. And then like a year or so later, now we're going to get the director's cuts. And I am not a fan of that. I have heard that these Rebel Moon films are not very good. So the original running length of the first one is 134 minutes. The longer cut is 204 minutes. And then Rebel Moon 2, the original version is 122 minutes. The longer cut is 173. Both films together were 166 million. Both are on Netflix. So I don't know. I've heard that there's a lot of wheat cutting. It says here Rebel Moon was inspired by the works of Kurosawa, the Star Wars movies, Heavy Metal Magazine. Now, the project began development as a Star Wars film that Snyder had pitched to Lucasfilm shortly after the sale of Lucasfilm went to Disney. Oh, so it wasn't Lucas who rejected it. I always thought it was Lucas who did, but no, this is back in 2012. So Disney rejected it. This pitch was to be more mature take on the Star Wars universe. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a part 3, because I'm guessing that if this was meant to be its own trilogy, that there would be a part 3, unless Netflix is just like, no, we don't want to do that. But I'm not seeing anything for a sequel listed, like a part 3 listed. So, and of course, these are Netflix, so they're not going to come out, they're not going to have physical releases, because Netflix rarely, if never, does, physical releases. So I'd have to get those as a bootleg. I'd have to get the Army of the Dead and, Army of Thieves. So that's 4 bootlegs I would have to get. Yeah, and I don't know if that's worth it. So, but there's other stuff here. That does say in the pre-production Planet of the Dead. And then there's Army of the Dead Las Vegas, also in this is in production. It's a TV series. He has for 2024 8 episodes Twilight of the Gods TV series. Rebel Moon Part 2, Rebel Moon 1, Army of Thieves, Suicide Squad, Army of the Dead, Wonder Woman 1984, Aquaman, Snow Steam Iron, which was a short, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, 300, Rise of the Empire, Sucker Punch. Under the Hood and Tales of the Black Freighter are both for Watchmen. Those are on the Ultimate Cut for Watchmen. So as a director, upcoming, he's doing The Fountainhead. He's also directing that Planet of the Dead. Director of the Army of the Dead Las Vegas. Also Twilight of the Gods. Yeah, that's Snow Steam Iron. Superman's 75th anniversary. He's showing it as a TV short. He's got some music videos on here. He directed The Lost Tape, Andy's Terrifying Last Days Revealed, which is from Dawn of the Dead. And then a whole bunch of music videos like Morrissey, Rod Stewart, ZZ Top, Soul Asylum, Morrissey again, Lizzie Borden, Peter Murphy. So and then it says here the way that you should watch the superhero movies. So I'm guessing this is just DC Superman, like superhero movies. So not necessarily Zack Snyder. So it's The Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, and I'm not going to read the entire title, it's too long. That is a film I hated. I still never finished it. God, did I hate that movie. It's so boring. It's so long. It's so stupid. And I kept falling asleep. By the fourth time that I tried watching it and I fell asleep again, I'm like, I'm done with this movie. I don't think it will ever enter my collection. So there's no reason to, yeah, I'm not going to have it in there. Plus it's not part of the Zack Snyder, universe. So Wonder Woman 1984, Zack Snyder's Justice League, then the Suicide Squad, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, which I do own. Blue Beetle, God, I don't want to own that one either, but it's not part of the universe, so I don't have to. I really hated that fucking line of Batman's a fascist. I did see the movie. I watched it online when it went on the Max, but I have no desire in owning it. And then Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That I will own because it's James Wan, and I didn't think it was as bad as everybody else did. So looking at what they have here, we'll quickly go over, because I do have them here, and I thought that they were on Wikipedia. So we'll look at first. So we already took a look at Shazam. Then there's Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Not as good as the first one, but it was okay. It wasn't bad. Rachel Zegler is Zegler. God, if I could pronounce her name correctly, before I start criticizing her. Who's Snow White and who's just the massive narcissist. I can't stand her. She's probably the worst actress in this. It would have been maybe nice to get somebody else, but and she'd even said when she was on the red carpet for this that the reason this is on the red carpet to the news, the reason why she did the movie was to pay her rent. And I can't stand her. I really can't stand her. I'm a Steven Spielberg collector. I don't want to pick up West Side Story because she's in it. I'm never going to go see Snow White with her in it. I would rather watch, the Daily Wire's version of Snow White, because at least that seems like it's a faithful adaptation than the woke Snow White. All the shit that she has said, all the shit that she has done, all these videos that have resurfaced, I have no desire in seeing anything she she's done. If she, I mean, I picked this one up because I wanted both Shazam movies, you know, to kind of fill in the collection. But yeah, I do not like Rachel Zegler. I do not like her. So yeah, Shazam: Fury of the Gods, not bad, but not great. Zachary Levi, for some reason, seems to be playing Billy a little bit more like mentally handicapped, like he's more like an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, instead of like a teenager. So it's weird that he played this more like, I don't know, not even like a kid, like just somebody who's just not entirely there, like on the spectrum type of thing. But Shazam is good, so I would recommend that. And I recommend both films. Why not? Megan Good is in it. I love Megan Good. I think she's gorgeous. So yeah, I think watching both films is worth it. At least they're on separate discs, which is good. Shows, so you know, Shazam: Fury of the Gods Blu-ray, Shazam Blu-ray. They're both fun, but the first one is better. So now when so we have Shazam, then it goes Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Suicide Squad. Oh, I should have said this one first, but and then there's Black Adam. So Black Adam, and this is where all that shit with Dwayne Johnson happened, where he tried to take over the DCEU and make Black Adam the main guy. There's all of this kind of behind the scenes talk. And I guess that he really wanted to do that team up with Superman, which is why in the first Shazam movie, you see Superman, like his head is cut off and his hair down, with him visiting like Billy in school. In this one, there is the actual Henry Cavill is Superman in this at the very end. But what's weird is with Shazam, so Shazam: Fury of the Gods does not have Dwayne Johnson listed as a producer, but Shazam does. He's listed as one of the executive producers. So the idea was, if you know the comics, Shazam and Black Adam are enemies. They fight constantly. I mean, he's you know, like the Bizarro version for, you know, Shazam. And they wanted they wanted Shazam to be, no, they wanted Black Adam to be in Shazam 2. But Dwayne Johnson said, no fucking way will Black Adam ever be in a Shazam movie. Those movies are stupid. So he is not in this at all. Superman is. Which to me, and then there was all this behind the scenes drama with Dwayne Johnson and this film and him fucking people over. And I even think like Levi even came out to talk about Zachary Levi came out to talk about like Shazam 2 failing, and I don't know if he ever talked about Black Adam, but yeah, there was all this drama. I was a big, you know, Dwayne Johnson fan. I became less of one, but I still like him, like in the Fast and Furious films. But I liked him after I heard about all the drama that went on, and with him being shady and sneaky and stuff. That it made me like him a little less. Did I like this film? Yes. I don't know why it bombed so bad. Dwayne Johnson lied about numbers and said that it didn't. It did. It bombed. It did. Sorry, Rock. It bombed. It's got a good cast in it, including, you know, Pierce Bronson. It's I love Hawkman. Once again, this is the thing. Now, I remember Hawkman as being a white guy. In this film, he's a black guy. Maybe somewhere in the comic book they swapped it. I don't remember. But the guy who plays Hawkman, I thought was really good. And I liked this story. I think one reason why it bombed is because it doesn't take place in America. And it takes place basically in like the Middle East. It's Americans cannot relate to that. China cannot relate to that. It's all these places where you want movies to do really well can't relate to that. And so I think if they had this take place in Chicago or New York or LA or something like that, that the film might have done better. I don't know. I like Black Adam as a villain at first, and then he turns into a good guy. I like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. And I think that this overall was actually a pretty good movie. I know that this was like a dream project for Dwayne Johnson, that he's always been a massive Black Adam fan. And so it was a dream come true to make this movie. And he did fight for Henry Cavill to come back as Superman, because that was after James Gunn had fired him, basically, and then hired him, and then fired him, and then hired him, and then fired him type of thing. But DVD, Blu-ray. And yeah, I actually enjoyed Black Adam. I don't think it should get as bad of a rap as it does. But I think Dwayne Johnson should get a bad rap, because he was just being very sneaky, very shady, and kind of fucking over people's careers and their characters. So, you know, if the plan was to have Shazam in Black Adam, or if Black Adam was supposed to be in Shazam, I think that, especially since they are, you know, rivals, they should have stuck with that. I don't think that a cameo from Black Adam would have been a bad thing in Shazam, you know, in Shazam or Shazam 2. I don't think that would have been bad. Or to even just have Shazam somehow show up here, even though they would be in completely different countries. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. Probably a lot of people have not seen it, but I think, you know, give it a chance. So this stuff, like I mentioned, it's all Warner Brothers, so it's probably on Max if you want to see it, you know, basically for free. Our second to the last one is, and God, and I really thought this was Zack Snyder, but it's not. But we're going to mention it anyways. So that's The Flash. Now, I own The Flash for one reason, and that's her. You might think it's Batman. No, it's Supergirl. I love this character, this version of Supergirl. I love the costume. I think that, you know, it looks like the Henry Cavill Superman costume, which is one of the few costumes that I like. And I like that she has the short black hair instead of the long blonde hair, which normally Supergirl has. I like that she is held in like this, I think it's like a Russian containment area. And that she's pissed, she's angry, she's mad. And I think she is the best thing in the movie. Recently, she has come out to say that she's happy that she got the part because she's a queer Latino woman. And I didn't need to know that. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care why that has to be brought up. Maybe just say, I'm thankful for the part. You know, I wish it would have continued, which is, I think, what the article was about, that she had signed like a 3-picture deal. And that deal is no longer happening. But I didn't need to know your sexual orientation. And that's the problem, I think, today with a lot of movies, is I don't need to know these things. Because that's not the character in the movie, or at least not that we know of. I also love that they brought back Like this is one of the best scenes in the film too. When they rescue her, that's a great scene where she kicks ass even before she puts the costume on. And then this fight scene I thought was pretty good. All the stuff with Michael Keaton, a waste of time. I think that he was there to just collect the paycheck. I think that his character, that the Bruce Wayne character, was wasted. uh, I think that all of his stuff was wasted. I mean, people didn't even. I mean, this film bombed so bad that badly. How am I saying it correct? I don't care. I'm not sure, but it bombed so harshly that even having Michael Keaton back as Batman, couldn't save it. And Michael Keaton is my Batman. Batman and Batman Returns, I absolutely love. So he is my favorite. And I love that Michael Shannon is back as Zod. I saw an interview with him where, excuse me, where the interviewer says, "So what do you think of the multiverse? Like with your character coming back?" And Michael Shannon looks at him, and I think he was completely serious and goes, "What's the multiverse? I have no idea what is it? What?" But like he acted really like he didn't know, and that the multiverse sounded stupid, which by this point it is. When Marvel and DC and all that stuff first came out with it, it was like, ooh, multiverse. Now it's like, fuck, come on, dudes. Really? Do we need that? Really? So, and I hate Ezra Miller. I cannot stand this guy. In like, it was in Justice League, I liked him. But that's before we got to know who he was. I thought that he was one of the best things in Justice League. And then we found out his true colors. And then now I can't stand the guy. And I hope that he never makes another movie again. So this is, and I like the time travel stuff. I like both of the Flashes working together. I like all of that stuff. I don't mind the multiverse. I like that there's even like a third Flash at the end who keeps trying to go back and fix things. So I think that this had promise. If they had stuck with the original comic book story, I think that this would have worked, but it deviates too far from it. And I really, like I said, I really only own this for Supergirl. I even have a Funko Pop of Supergirl because I liked her so much in it. I even have a Funko Pop of Shazam from Shazam: Fury of the Gods. So now our last one. So is this worth watching? Is The Flash worth watching? I don't know. That whole baby scene at the beginning was so fucking stupid, and those babies looked awful. I mean, even puts one in a microwave. The hell? I mean, I guess that's kind of funny in a way. Not really, but okay. But God, did those babies look bad? Man, did it look bad? Ugh. So the last movie here is not comic book related at all. It is novel related. And it's even by Warner Brothers. So it still kind of matches here. So I was watching Patrick H. Willems, and he was going over Zack Snyder films. And he had mentioned at the very end that if you watch this film, you are going to see from this movie where all of the Zack Snyder stuff came from. It is Zack Snyder's favorite film. He has pointed this out in interviews, and that is Excalibur. He loves King Arthur. He loves the Knights of the Round Table. If you even look at something like the Justice League, where I think it's at the end when Bruce Wayne goes back into like Wayne Manor, he talks about putting in the big table. That so it's which would be the Knights of the Round Table, and so Zack Snyder loves this movie. This is a John Boorman film. It is a great version of King Arthur. Merlin is awesome in this. It is incredibly adult. It is very R-rated. tons of violence and sex and nudity. It is a great movie. So when I was doing my last Michael Bay film, I did show the original West Side Story, which is a massive influence on Michael Bay, which is weird because you don't see it in Michael Bay's movies. This you do. This with the action, the colors, the direction, the story. This is the genesis of Zack Snyder. And if you have not seen it, and I said it, I mentioned it's on Warner Brothers or Max, definitely check it out. It is a great film, and all the other versions of King Arthur just get thrown out the window when it comes to this. This is a great film. So okay. So with that being said, we even got a few here that I thought were not were on Wikipedia in the universe of Zack Snyder. So I don't know what to make of James Gunn's, DCU. I don't have a lot of faith in James Gunn with this, but so it's showing here, and this is kind of, I guess maybe that this is in some sort of order. Superman Legacy, Creature Commandos, Waller, Peacemaker Season 2, Lost Paradise, Lanterns, Booster Gold, The Brave and the Bold, The Authority, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing, and Blue Beetle. Oh, God, really? Oh, okay. Maybe that's like a totally different Blue Beetle, but that's according to the direct. James Gunn reveals chronological order of his new DCU so far. What order do the DCU's 10 confirmed movies and shows take place in? And that's what I just read you. So we'll see. Okay. So we got done the main stuff here, and the next video will have random comic book DC movies. That's what it's looking like. So there's still DC. Most of them, obviously going to be from Warner Brothers. And I just want to double check and make sure that I have all of them. It's not that big. It's less than half of what I have right here for the Zack Snyder stuff. And we'll call them bonus movies. Black Adam and the Flash will be bonus movies. So, all right, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate you watching this. And, if you want down below, comment on your favorite movies, the Zack Snyder stuff or the DC stuff that we talked about. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm missing anything or I got something wrong. Yeah. So Shazam 1 and 2, Black Adam, and the Flash. Man, I could swear that those were part of the Zack Snyder universe, but they're not. So I know I keep repeating that, but I'm surprised because I really thought that they were. And go check out Excalibur. So that's a great film. But don't let the kids watch it. It's not a kids movie. So, all right, everybody. I'll see you on the next video, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. All right, bye. Meow.